Welcome back to the NFPT podcast, where we make you feel confident walking into your CPT exam. I'm your host, Erin Mahoney, General Manager of NFPT and also longtime certified personal trainer. Today, our episode is all about testing domain strategies and how you learn differently depending on the information you're going to be tested over. So let's start by talking about testing domains, which we did talk about in a previous episode, but here's a little refresher for you. Testing domains are the major topics that you'll be tested over when you go to take your CPT exam. And all of these domains are not created equally. So, for example, anatomy is one testing domain, and that is 20% of your exam questions. Then you've got physiology, that's 19% of your exam questions. You've got components of fitness, that's 23% of those questions. And then you've got program design, which is 33% of the questions on your CPT exam. So that is not all of the testing domains, but those are the big ones. And as you can see, if you add up those percentages, if you can nail these questions, you will pass your CPT exam. Here's your tip and what we're going to talk about today. You want to be learning differently depending on the testing domain, because with each one of these testing domains, there's a different challenge in front of you. It's going to impact you differently. You should have a different goal, and it should change how you learn. So let's talk through all of that. And we're going to start with the testing domains of anatomy and physiology. I'm going to put those two together because they're very similar in terms of how you should go about learning. First and foremost, the challenge in front of you, or the task, is that you're being exposed to foreign terms and concepts. So things that you've never heard before, like synergist and maybe ATP-CP and the glycolytic energy system. So there's different things that you may have not heard of before that now you have to learn. And therefore, the impact is it can be demotivating. So, this is for the vast majority of people. So, if you've already started going through your CPT course and you're realizing it's not as fun as maybe you thought it would be, you are not alone. You are in the vast majority of CPT students. And the good news is you can get over it. So, hang in there with me. Let's keep talking through what you're going to do with anatomy and physiology. Your goal as you learn this information is progression. So just keep moving through the material. You can always revisit these concepts later. And not only can you revisit them, you will revisit them because the concepts are going to stack and they're going to be applied into things that you understand better. So I want you to move, don't stall out, and don't get demotivated. How you're going to learn here is you're going to lean in and leverage those memory tricks that we teach you in your NFPT CPT. We also have some episodes devoted just to memory tricks, so check those out if you haven't already. They're very helpful and it allows you to keep going even when you're faced with these challenges. With these types of questions, they're not purely definition related questions. So it won't just be, what is the term for the definition of? You will have some of those questions, but they also go into application. So you're not going to worry about that just yet, but right now you want to get those key concepts figured out. Then you're going to start learning about fitness components. And here, the task is that you're starting to stack your learning. What I mean by that is the concepts that you learned in anatomy and physiology are now starting to stack on top of one another. So you're starting to put those pieces of the puzzle all together. And how that impacts you is you'll start to get curious because you'll see a little bit of how it all fits together, but you're also going to get a little overwhelmed, just like you are when you've got all those puzzle pieces in front of you and some of them fit together, but then you've got all these outliers that you just can't figure out where they go. So because of this overwhelm, you want to stay focused. I'm not worried about your motivation here because I think as you start going through it and it gets a little easier, you don't mind learning as much. But you're getting curious because you love fitness and you want to learn more. So it's easy to go down a rabbit hole, and we don't want you to do that. So stay focused on what you are reading about and watching with your videos. And how you learn is as you're going through this material, anchor it to the foundational concepts that you've already learned with anatomy and physiology. Because as you go through this, here's a little insight. It might seem simple. The fitness components are simple, but you want to be able to connect it to anatomy and physiology because it's going to help reinforce what you've already learned, and then it's going to make the next step easier. So now let's talk about that last testing domain, program design, the biggest one. And the task at hand here is you're merging all of these concepts that you've already learned and you're applying them. So you're taking human anatomy, physiology, and the fitness components, and you're applying them to what does this look like when you develop a workout and a total program for a client. And how that could impact you is you might realize there's some conflicting knowledge. Maybe a workout or a program that you've put together before, or somebody else that has put it together, that might conflict with what you're learning right now. And so you might get confused. And you might struggle with a little bit of overwhelm, but you're realizing there's a lot of misinformation out there, or sometimes people are getting results almost by chance, it seems. And so as you go through the material, rather than relating all of this information to past experiences, your goal here is to apply your learnings daily. So from today moving forward, for example, when you are watching somebody walk down the street or standing in line, take a look at what muscle imbalances you might see. Are their knees caving in with each step? Do they have an arch in their lower back? Similarly, when you go to the gym, pay attention to how long the people in front of you or at the gym are resting. How many repetitions are they doing? See if you can guess what their fitness goals might be. So every day, no matter where you're at, just try to find a way to apply what you've learned out in the real world. And the best way to learn the principles of program design is not to memorize. Instead, you already did your memorization with those concepts early on. So you're going to lean into that foundational knowledge and you're going to fit it all together. So you want to be thinking conceptually and contextually rather than memorizing the minute details. As you go through this, you're going to be thinking in terms of muscle fiber types and energy systems. So it will be really helpful to have already learned that information, and then you get to see how it all fits together. And then it becomes easy. All right, and that's the NFPT differentiator, is CPT success should not be complicated. That's what we're here for, is to simplify the path and make learning easy. So if you haven't already, enroll in NFPT's CPT today. Or if you've already enrolled in a CPT, but you need some extra help, check out our recorded exam prep series. It supplements any CPT program that you might be going through. And regardless of whether you're thinking about enrolling in a CPT or getting our recorded exam prep series, make sure you use the coupon code NFPT Podcast 10. So again, NFPT Podcast 10. That's going to give you an additional 10% off of the already discounted prices when you go to our website. So check it out. I can't wait for you guys to join again and to talk more because you are a future CPT. Stay well and keep moving. Today's episode is brought to you by Summit Professional Education. Unlock your potential with Summit Professional Education, your trusted partner for expert-led courses, flexible learning, and essential CEUs. Elevate your skills today at summiteducation.com.